Here's something to ponder. 242. What is the relevance of that number? Well, 242 is the total of all the electoral votes for states that have voted Democratic in presidential elections in the last 6 presidential elections since 1992. And those states are California, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, and Wisconsin. Those are the 18. And so because they have gone Democratic in the last 6 presidential elections, most likely you could argue that those are a given, basically, for any Democrat who's running for president. So whoever the Democratic candidate is in 2016, whether it's Hillary or whether it's someone else, those 242 votes are almost a given. But how many do you need to win? You need 270. If that's 242, well, that means a Democrat only needs to find 28 votes from 32 other states, which means they really don't need to look very far. Florida is 29 electoral votes. There's your 28 needed to win right now. So the Democrat in 2016 could basically only campaign in Florida and put 100% of their resources in Florida, theoretically, because if the other 18 are a given, well, they need 28, and Florida's 29 electoral votes. Or they can go for Ohio and Virginia. Ohio is 18, Virginia is 13. Well, add those together, that's 31. There you go. There's your 28 right there. And I should note that out of Ohio, Virginia, and Florida, all swing states, they are trending more Democratic. In the last 2 elections, they've gone to the Democrat. And so it's no surprise that in 2012, although in the media and in theory, Barack Obama was in serious trouble, he was not as popular as he was in 2008. The economy was still not so great, but you can understand why he did not seem so flustered and why he probably never thought he was going to lose. You can simply look at the math. The math worked in his favor. He knew that he had 242 electoral votes as a given. He only needed to find 28, and he looked to Ohio, Virginia, and Florida. Now, he won all 3, but he really only had to win either Florida or Ohio or Virginia. And so, although Mitt Romney may have been more popular, although he didn't win the popular vote, but many thought that Mitt Romney would win the popular vote but lose the Electoral College, you can simply look at the math. Because since 1992, only 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, only 13 states have gone Republican in the last 6 elections, and those only equal up to 102 electoral votes. They're mostly small states: Alaska, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Utah. So 102 minus 242, that's an 140 electoral vote difference in the given column. And so I think Republicans should be seriously worried about electoral prospects. Forget about who the candidate is, because the 18 states for 242 electoral votes are almost a given for the Democrat. The Democrat only needs to find 28 extra to make 270, and the 3 states that either 2 of them added together or 1 by itself will give them the 28. All 3 have gone Democratic in the last 2 elections, and although they're still swing states, are trending Democratic. And so Republicans should be seriously worried. One final note, something that I noticed is that perhaps Chris Christie, his candidacy may be interesting in that he is from the Northeast, and while it might not happen, there's a strong argument that maybe if Chris Christie ran, he might not win them, but maybe he could put New Jersey or Connecticut or Pennsylvania or Delaware states or in his vicinity geographically. Maybe he could put them into play, and that is really what Republicans need. Republicans need to look at the math and need to realize that out of these 18 states, they need to put some of those into play. Otherwise, mathematically, they just won't win. And so they need to look at these states and they need to find people, candidates who can attract voters in those states. They are something to ponder.